I'm going down a rabbit hole. I am. I'm going down a Parks Casino rabbit hole as I speak. I'm online. There's my account. I'm waving it at the screen so that you don't try and tap into my account. There are so many choices for the big game on Sunday. You've got the straight money line, Philadelphia plus 105. The point spread. I got to say, I like this. Philadelphia getting a point and a half. I don't think they're going to need it. I don't think they're going to need it. What else interests me? The over-under on points is 49. Yeah, I think a lot of points are going to be scored in this game. MVP. Oh, okay. So they've got, let's just see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus the other 43 participants if I want to show them all. But here are the favorites. Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Travis Kelce, A.J. Brown, Xavier Worthy, Jalen Carter, Chris Jones. It just seems like it's shaping up for Saquon or for Jalen Hurts. I'm very, very bullish, and I'm not biased because of where I am. Like, everybody around me is insane about Philadelphia on Sunday in the big game. I'm into it. I'm just busy. I'm just busy. I haven't had a chance to get emotionally committed to it the way that I have in years gone by. So I'm looking at it dispassionately. I'm looking at it dispassionately, and I am saying that I think that there's a lot of smart play here for Philadelphia. And there's so many different things to do. So many MVP. Is it gonna, you can go, is the MVP award winner going to be an offensive or defensive player? I mean, gone are the days when it's the color of the Gatorade and the length that it takes to sing the national anthem. If you want to do that, you can, but you got a lot more choices. So, big game is just days away. The BetParks online casino and sportsbook app in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Maryland. The Play Gun Lake app in Michigan. They've got you covered for the big game. Philly, a 1.5 point underdog against Kansas City, trying to make history and win their third straight title. The over-under, as I just showed you, was 49. Whether your team scores or not, there's always another way to get in on the action, have some fun, have some skin in the game. You can also play blackjack and craps and poker and roulette and all the hot online slots while watching the game. If there's a timeout and you take your eye off the commercials for a minute, you can play blackjack. A lot of great fun action. Get in on it. Download the app right now so that you're ready to go for Sunday. New users, download the app and get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. That's got to be wagered. BetParks.com, PlayGunLake.com for details. Got to be 21 and in PA, NJ, or Maryland for the BetParks app, 21 and in Michigan for the Play Gun Lake app. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. I was thrilled with the voting yesterday at Smerconish.com because it was a little offbeat. It was a little bit offbeat, and yet there were 32,935 votes cast on this question. Are you always honest when telling people how you voted in the 2024 election? Now, before I give you the result from Smerconish.com, let me tell you why I asked. I asked because Mark Penn was a guest on the program yesterday. He's the famed pollster, ties to Bill and Hillary, was their pollster. Now he's got the Harris Axios poll. They asked 2,000 voters in late October about the veracity question. And like, who knows if the people were honest this time, full caveat. But they found that men were nearly twice as likely as women to say they lied about their vote to someone close to them. And 20% of men had lied about their vote more than once. Well, this is interesting because you might remember there were a couple of commercials that were pro Kamala Harris, one that featured George Clooney, one that featured Julia Roberts, but they were geared toward women and essentially saying, hey, you don't need to go home and tell him how you voted. You know, the idea being that women might feel pressure because they were going to vote for Harris or they wanted to vote for Harris, but maybe they're in a relationship with a guy and he's for Trump. They were trying to like relieve women of any burden that they might feel. And it turns out maybe it was the guys Like maybe, as I said yesterday, maybe Trump should have been running a commercial that said to the guys, hey, you don't have to tell her who you voted for. Go vote for Donald Trump. Um, from the essay in the Wall Street Journal about this piece that Mark Penn wrote with Andrew Stein, a reasonable surmise is that men are more afraid of being judged by women for their votes than the other way around. The highest propensity, see what you make of this. The highest propensity for lying was found among those who are young, work remotely or hybrid, live in an urban area, and make more than 100 grand. Almost 1 in 4 voters overall reported having fibbed about their vote. Well, not our audience, because of the 32,935, 80%, 79.07 say, I always tell the truth. The no votes, meaning are you always honest, those who prevaricate, only 3.82%, only 4%. And I gave you the option of I just say nothing. That was 17.11% of us. Today, it had to be on the tariffs, right? It had to be on the tariffs. I'm asking because I assume sophisticated POTUS listeners and viewers of my material on YouTube, you're paying attention and you know that the United States, President Trump, the White House backed off from the imposition of tariffs on Mexico and Canada after there were conversations between the leaders of all three nations, Trump with Mexico, Trump with Canada. Did we benefit from that? Did we benefit from that? That's the question. Did the United States benefit from President Trump's tariff threats against Canada and Mexico? He's postponed implementation of the tariffs for 30 days via Truth Social. He said a lot of things, including Canada will implement their $1.3 billion border plan as per Prime Minister Trudeau. They will be reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, yada, yada, yada. 10,000 frontline personnel are or will be working on the border. Okay, that's a good thing, right? Can he claim victory for that? And then relative to Claudia Sheinbaum, the Mexican president, he similarly said when he got off the phone with her, I had a very friendly conversation. She agreed to immediately supply 10,000 Mexican border soldiers. So that's taking place there. So perhaps he got what he wanted. And this was a good use of soft power or hard power by President Trump. Or there's the Wall Street Journal, which says Trump blinked. That's their lead editorial today. Mr. Trump's weekend tariff broadside against a pair of neighbors has opened a new era of economic uncertainty that won't calm down until the president does. As we warned many times before Election Day, this is the biggest economic risk of Donald Trump's second term. And as this was going on, China countered President Trump's across-the-board tariffs of their products with tariffs on select imports of our products, as well as announcing an antitrust investigation into Google. So the tit for tat continues. Those most knowledgeable about these matters say that China was measured. They were measured in their response, hoping that they're going to go the way of Mexico and Canada, and that Trump needs to lay down a marker early on in his term. They get that, and they're going to negotiate some type of a resolution with him. Stephen Collinson has a good assessment that I liked at CNN, again, on the poll question of, did the United States benefit from what just went on here? And he said, Stephen Collinson, Trump has some bragging rights. He campaigned on strengthening America's northern and southern borders and demanded Canada and Mexico do more to cut the flow of undocumented migrants and fentanyl. And he was able to glean, I'm just paraphrasing what he wrote here, 10,000 troops from Mexico, 10,000 troops from Canada. He also was able to get Trudeau to agree to name a fentanyl czar, set up a joint U.S.-Canada border task force, and spend $1.3 billion on technology, helicopters, and equipment. For the White House, Trump had racked up wins and an America First mode, bullied foreign states into submission, just as Caroline Leavitt, the 27-year-old White House press secretary, said, Canada is bending the knee just like Mexico. So you can look at it that way. I don't sense that many of the people who vote on my website will. The flip side is Trump blinked. He vowed as recently as last week that there was nothing that Canada or Mexico could do to avoid the tariffs that he planned. He pulled back on imposing them anyway. So it was capitulation on his part. I think it's just yesterday's installment of the Trump reality show. He controlled the news cycle for the last 48 hours. We went from Trump controlling the news cycle with DEI, even against the backdrop of that catastrophic event in Washington, to then Trump controlling the news cycle with tariffs. And who knows how he'll control the news cycle today. It's early. I'm sure there's something coming. By the way, two great guests booked on today's SiriusXM radio program on this news. Former United States Ambassador to Canada, David L. Cohen, who's an old friend and has recently completed his 4-year tenure in that regard. And also pure coincidence that I got in advance of a book that comes out in 3 weeks by Edward Fishman called Choke Points: American Power in the Age of Economic Warfare. And really compelling, and in a subject area that I was not familiar and lacked a lot of knowledge and learned a lot of things, but it's just perfect timing because the whole book is about how, he doesn't say it this way, but I will, in a world that's gone flat, Thomas Friedman, it's now economic power that matters, sanctions and tariffs. And the nation that can wield the most economic power, comes home with all the toys. Hopefully that makes the world a safer place, because you'd rather that we're fighting about money or through financial markets than we are on battlefields. So I'm looking forward to that conversation as well. How did we do? How did the United States do in all that just went on in the last 48 hours? I'm not giving you a third choice, which is to say nothing really changed. Did the United States benefit from President Trump's tariff threats against Mexico and Canada? Cast a ballot while you're there, while you're here, pardon me. Please like and subscribe and set yourself up for a notification, because I want to make sure that I can weigh in beyond just our normal get-togethers in the morning and that you will be alerted to that. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.